Don't ask yourself this question too lightly. Don't let the answer come too quickly from the surface of your mind. Take time to go deep within to the core of your soul, to the center of your true heart, and ask, what do I want now? When you find the answer to this question, you will know it, because it will rise up with a recognition that will cause every cell in your body to stand with attention and sing. Sometimes the mistake we make when we learn something from A Course in Miracles, from NTI, from this message from Holy Spirit, is we learn it at what I'm going to call the intellectual level, and then we practice it at the intellectual level. But the intellectual level is not the level of true experience. So like if we have this idea in our head that I'm supposed to look at my thoughts, and I'm supposed to say, I chose this thought because I wanted this experience, right? And then I think I'm supposed to say, but what I really want now is love. And I kind of stay up at the intellectual level, just saying it because Spirit, said to say it in a message. It doesn't really affect a change. So Spirit is saying, don't ask yourself this question too lightly. Don't let the answer come too quickly. Instead, take the time to be still, to go deep within, and find the answer. Find the answer, feel the answer, know the answer, experience the answer, that I only want to be love, or however the answer appears to you. Let it come from your depth. It's not intellectual. And answering from deep within yourself and recognizing your own true answer is going to begin to affect a change. Okay, I notice Lord Blue has his hand up. So, Lord Blue, what do you have? Okay, Lord Blue's question, what is the relationship between surrender on the one hand and what do I want now from the other hand? Is not it the case that the meaning of surrender is not to want anything and to let HS take care of everything? The only difference between what do I want now, the way Spirit's teaching it to us in this message, and surrendering to Holy Spirit is a matter of symbols. It's a matter of symbols only, words. If you practice the way Holy Spirit is asking, and you take that time to go within your depth and ask, what do I want? You are going down to the place inside of you where the answer is the same as Holy Spirit's answer. Remember, your will and Holy Spirit's will are one. But that's why you have to leave the ego. That's why you have to leave the intellect, and you have to take the time to go deep. But when you go deep and you ask that question, what do I want now? It is literally the same as asking Spirit, what do you want from me? Because you're asking from that same place, right? And the answer is rising from that same place. Remember, Holy Spirit, not the actual wisdom that we call Holy Spirit. The actual wisdom itself is not a symbol, it's real. But the words Holy Spirit, those words, are a symbol that come from the Christian tradition, right? You're not going to find Buddhists talking about Holy Spirit, or you're not going to find Hindus talking about Holy Spirit. They're going to use different sets of words to talk about the same process of going within. They might use the symbol of the heart, ask the heart, right? So we don't want to get confused by words. We want to realize that we're talking about reaching a wisdom, a depth within that knows what's in our best interest, what's true for us, right? It's the experience we're after. And when you have that experience, whether you call that Holy Spirit, whether you call that my heart, whether you call that my true self, it's irrelevant. You're still talking about the same act of surrendering the ego and going within to a higher wisdom. So hopefully that answers your question, Lord Blue. All right, let me go back to the message then. So we know not to ask the question too lightly. We know this is not an intellectual exercise. This is a process of going within and finding that true answer and experiencing it. Experiencing the answer of what do we want now. Realizing through absolute experience that we are ready to make a different choice. Right? Holy Spirit then continues. Once you have the answer to the question, what do I want now? Look back at the content of the ego thought in your mind. What is it trying to teach you? Is it teaching your consciousness that which you would have consciousness learn? If not, it is not a thought you want now. It is the residual thought of an experience you chose before, but an experience you are choosing against now. With this realization in mind, remember that everything you experience comes to you through your choice. Remember how you truly want to experience now, and with the power and love of God that backs every decision you make, look at the thought you do not want and say, I do not choose this thought today. This is a thought I do not want now, because this is not how I would experience myself any longer. Now remember, this is not an intellectual exercise. You're not just repeating these words because they were in a message. You have invoked the part of you where what you're saying now is the sincerest thing you could possibly say. You are looking right at the ego thoughts that are the result of a decision you made before, the decision to have these false experiences, and from a place of true realization and knowledge, you are saying, I don't want this anymore. This is powerful because you are certain and you know that you're speaking from your truth now. There's no fear in you. Right? There's a depth of knowledge. It's very powerful. Now, Holy Spirit, Lord Blue has another question, so before I continue, let's see what Lord Blue has. Okay, so Lord Blue says this is a follow-up to the previous question. Then this means there is only one option, only one right answer. So this is not really a choice because there is only one answer, right? And the answer is right. I think that at some point we get to the point of what I would call choicelessness, the point of being so clear on what we truly want that now we're just following that. We're just, some people would call it being in the flow, some people would call it being surrendered, some people might even call it abiding. But you're in touch with your real self. You're no longer confused about who you are or what you want. I think Peace Pilgrim called it being in harmony with yourself. So you're right, it's not really a choice. Not when you get in touch with who you are and what you want. The idea of choice disappears. So thanks, Lord Blue. That was a very enlightening question. At first it feels like a choice, yes. Yes. Okay, so now, continuing with the message.